Hello, everybody. Thank you for returning to our YouTube channel. I am Brian with Technology United for Ukraine, and we are now partnered with the Birds of Fury, which is a Ukrainian military R&D group that we work with to bring innovative technologies to the Ukrainian armed forces. So if you'd like to join us, link is in the description. We want everybody come and join us and help us make innovative technologies or just help out, put the word out there, be part of our nonprofit. All right, let's get right into this. So as of the 7th of January, the amount of Russians that have been eliminated, Russian soldiers on the battlefield, is now 800,010, with 1,970 being added. Wounded, 2,400,030. I mean, staggering. Think of how that kind of stresses the system out there, because a lot of these coming back need mental help. They need physical therapy, occupational health, nursing care, everything, wound care, you name it. So that is, it has to be an amazing pressure, a tremendous pressure on the Russian system. All right, now let's look at armored combat vehicles. It's at 20,189 with 25 being added. Tanks are at 9,710 with 10 being added. And artillery, as I always tell you, is a very key number, is at 21,710 with 45 being added. That is unbelievable, the amount of artillery that has been destroyed. And how the Russians are replacing it is mind-boggling. But they had stores that they've been building for over 70 years for a potential war with Europe, Western Europe, and NATO. So when that runs out, when it gets to the point they can't replace what's going out, remains to be seen. But probably within the next 6 months, I would imagine it's going to get extraordinarily difficult to replace as these losses keep mounting. All right, let's go look at the news that came out about the gas pipeline that Ukraine shut down. The agreement between Russia and Ukraine had come to its fruition at the end of the year. Ukraine said, we're not going to renew it. Ukraine will lose $800 million in gas transit fees, but Russia will lose $5 billion in gas sales. This gas was going to Hungary and Italy and several other places. But as we know, both the U.S. and Azerbaijan has stepped up and said, look, we will replace that. We will be your new supplier. And that's something Trump had many years ago when he was in, said that he wanted to do. He's been eyeing that business, and that to a certain degree is to really irk Putin. So whether Putin's going to come to the table now and be open to negotiations because of Trump may be a little bit more in jeopardy, because I can't imagine they're happy about us stepping in and saying, well, we'll take over that gas business. That is not going to go over well with them, obviously, and hasn't gone over well. So that's going to be interesting. Now let's look at the Kursk area. There was a hit on a Marine brigade out here, I believe a Marine brigade, of Russians. So it's quite devastating attack, which took out a number of troops, and I don't know how much equipment, but it was a command post. So a lot was here and a lot was going on here. And as we know, the Ukrainians are pushing in this direction in their new offensive and in this direction. Now, how far we've made it, it's been kept very secret for obvious reasons. They don't want to OPSEC, but I'll give you an update once we find out more as the fog of war clears. And so does the OPSEC issue, where they don't want to tell us what's exactly going on. Now, let's look at the deep state and get an idea here. As we do, as I normally do, I go to Pokrovsk to get an idea of what's happening there, because that's where they're moving the most, the Russians. And there are several other areas that the Russians are also moving, but in some areas, the battlefield has really become stagnant. But if we look down here, right in this area here and here, let's go back in time from today back. We see the movement is very minimal there. I mean, they're taking maybe a few hundred yards here and there in these areas, and this is very static at this point. Let's go ahead in time. So Chasiv Yar, they are into the city itself, the Chasiv Yar area and the city around it. So they have pushed into that area, and the battle has been quite intensive, as I have heard from my contacts there. They have one hell of a defense set up against the Russians in this area. It's going to be extremely costly for them to push forward. Now let's go look at the Pokrovsk issue, and we'll see the timeline as we move on. I'll blow this up a little bit more to give us more a bird's eye view of what's going on. As we know, they're going heavily in this direction here, very heavy in this direction and this direction. They haven't made a lot of progress here, but as these troops withdraw from here, this will open up and allow them to, their typical scissor move, pincer move. I mean, they'll go this way and then they'll close in here and they'll take this whole area. And then hopefully, they're hoping that once that falls, they'll move up in here. So that would be the Russian plan. Now, that's been very slow going for them. So again, getting to this area here would be very costly for them. But let's go back in time and see exactly how far they've made it in the past couple days. Let me really blow this up here. All right, so we're going to watch that area. All right, going back a couple days, as you can see, it's very slow going. As we go back to the 28th, the 27th, they've taken sometimes only meters a day and had extraordinary losses. I guess we could say, and I'm just, making a guess here, probably within the next month, they will probably be deep in the city, and probably this will look like that, something like that. It really depends, on Russia being able to get the forces they need in this area. With Kursk being a real hot situation now, they have pulled a lot of their elite troops out of here, and now they're fighting up in the Kursk region. So, it remains to be seen how far they'll go, but they'll definitely run into stiff resistance in these areas here as they keep pushing forward. Again, just to get from here to here has been extremely costly. Never mind where they originally started, which was right down here, right on the border where the Donetsk city is. And we're talking a long time ago. They started this offensive, and just to get out here, which is probably, let me take a ruler just from the city. We're going to guess here. We're going to go all the way. Oops. I'm going to put this there, and then we're going to come out to roughly here. You're looking at 50 kilometers. Just to do that has been just ridiculously costly for them. All right, everybody. That was the update for today. Thank you for coming by. Remember, join our organization. Check out the Birds of Fury. They are also in the link. And Slava Ukraini.